Coming up on City Span, Council votes unanimously to approve a new city manager. It's been a banner year for film production in Savannah, and how tourism impacts our city and what's being done to manage that impact. Stay tuned. City Span starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Margaret Williams. Welcome to City Span, your source for news and information about Savannah city government. First up, it's official. Savannah has a new city manager. On April 4th, City Council voted unanimously to appoint Stephanie Cutter as the 7th city manager in Savannah's history.
She is a visionary, and I think it can be attested by members of this council. But she has brought back togetherness among the staff, all of the employees, the leadership, and the city of Savannah. Because
Cutter, whose career with the city spans more than 2 decades, served as a budget analyst, management services coordinator, director of residential refuge, and chief of the sanitation bureau. Last October, she was appointed acting city manager, having previously served as assistant city manager of administrative and community services since December 2011, and as acting assistant city manager since May 2010.
I know the importance of the city manager and city council working in unity to move Savannah forward. And it is an honor for you to even consider me, and much more of an honor for you all to unanimously appoint me. And I promise you, I will work extremely hard with the entire team of the city of Savannah, and we can do great things working together. I sincerely thank you.
Cutter is a Savannah native, the first to serve as city manager, and a graduate of Windsor Forest High School and Savannah State University. She has also received senior leadership training from the University of Virginia in 2010 and is a graduate of Leadership Savannah. As part of Mayor Edna Jackson's initiative to increase economic, cultural, and educational ties with the State of Israel, the city welcomed 2 delegations to Savannah in March. Both were evidence of the rapidly growing importance of this strategic relationship.
The meetings were the 3rd and 4th such exchanges between officials from Savannah and Israel. And the emphasis of last month's visits was on increasing trade and educational ties. The delegation's itineraries included tours and meetings with officials from the Georgia Ports Authority, Gulfstream, Savannah State University, SCAD, and Armstrong Atlantic State University, as well as with the mayor and city staff members.
Our organization was established about 20 years ago in Georgia, actually, to help the economy of Israel, to help Israeli companies connect and develop through relationship with companies in the Southeast. We have our DNA footprint at about $1 billion worth of transactions between U.S. and Israeli companies.
Savannah is the #2 destination and origin of imports and exports between Israel and the United States, and we treasure the relationship we have with the city of Savannah and its port.
On the educational front, former Israeli education minister and current president of Shenkar College, Yael Tamir, said that while she was in Savannah seeking opportunities in art and design, she's found a wealth of other possible areas of cooperation.
I think I will be able to create other connections with other universities who specialize in things that are done here, like marine studies that we don't have, but I know colleges in Israel that are very developed in their marine research, nursing that we don't have, but I know other colleges. So I think I can facilitate also other relationships apart from my own school, which is...
During a press conference at City Hall, Mayor Jackson spoke on a personal level about how the activism of the Savannah Jewish community in business, cultural affairs, and civil rights lay at the heart of her commitment to Israel.
During the Civil Rights Movement, had it not been for the Jewish community getting involved, I do not think that we would have integrated, or no, not integrated, desegregated the city of Savannah. The Jewish community always had African Americans working at all of their businesses, not just as the meat cutters or stocking the counters, but training them in other jobs that all went up to management as well.
Mayor Jackson said the bond between the black and Jewish communities in America also stemmed from their common history of struggle for recognition and respect.
For years, residents of one Savannah neighborhood have had to endure the noise of thousands of vehicles that travel the I-516 and Durin Avenue corridor each day. But after an extensive citizen engagement process, construction of a new architecturally pleasing sound barrier wall will bring them some much needed peace and quiet.
Yes, we're adding protection to those residents who live along here, but we're also adding something beautiful for those people who are on 516 waiting for the Montgomery Street light. They're going to have something pretty and architectural and indicative of Savannah to look at, which is going to be a great thing for the community. When you look at citizen engagement, you can have citizen engagement through the planning process, but it doesn't stop at the planning process. We are also here during the construction phase. Each and every day we are out here engaging them, making sure they understand what's happening, what to expect, so that they can plan their day-to-day. They know construction's in their backyard. They know that there's going to be equipment and dirt and dust, and they're okay with that because they are looking forward to the future, and the future is a 10-foot aesthetically pleasing sound wall for their neighborhood.
A side benefit of the wall's construction is the employment of approximately 50 locals, from the prime contractor to subcontractors. Construction is expected to be completed by the end of summer. The need for the wall came about during the development of Project Durin, the city's comprehensive plan to turn the busy corridor into Savannah's mid-city Main Street. Residents will have their first opportunity to see the latest plans, make comments, and get more information at an upcoming public meeting.
This is a long time coming. This is a public's real opportunity to tell GDOT and the City of Savannah what they think about our plans. We're unveiling a new set of plans. It's similar to what we had before, but slightly different, taking into consideration some of the environmental aspects of the project. So we encourage everybody to come out on April 23rd, 4 to 7 p.m. at Eckberg Auditorium at Savannah Technical College, and we have great participation.
More information is available at the city's website, savannahga.gov/Durin, about calling the Project Durin office at 651-6488. It's been a banner year for the Savannah Film Office. 2012 was the best ever in terms of production dollars spent in the city for films, music videos, commercials, and photo shoots. On any given day, 2 shoots were taking place on the streets of Savannah, from Abraham Lincoln moonlighting as a zombie killer to a Louis Vuitton photo shoot at Wormslow to roll out its spring collection, and the trend shows no signs of stopping.
This epidemic must be contained.
Welcome to the Gilded Age. While much of the area economy is still struggling to shake off the recession, Savannah's film business is booming. More than 700 shooting days on 242 films, television programs, commercials, and photo shoots pumped an estimated $26 million into the local economy. That's the biggest number of projects, local employment, and spending since the film office opened in 1995. And there's every reason to believe that the trend will continue.
The numbers from 2012 are really impressive. We've set records in almost every category, in every category. I think economic impact, number of permits issued, number of shooting days issued. We hit records, some of those categories, double or maybe even triple of what we've had in previous years. The sort of Hollywood model is changing. There's a lot more production being done outside of California, outside of Hollywood, outside of traditional filmmaking areas. They're moving to more of a local production mentality. That's great news for Savannah.
According to Savannah Film Commissioner Jay Self, that local production model is driven by increasingly decentralized funding and distribution. In today's film world, where movies can be made literally anywhere, productions are smaller scale, relying on lower cost, local talent with the necessary skills to get the job done.
There's not nearly as much money in making films anymore. A producer who has an unlimited budget is going to bring in people they've worked with before. That's just common sense. A producer who has to watch their budget is going to look more for local resources. And so the smaller films, though they may not get the media attention that the $50 million film with a huge star does, they actually have a much higher level of impact per dollar than the big films do, because they have to hire locally.
Right.
And Andy Young of the Film Office says that has a more profound effect on the area's economy.
One of the upsides of more smaller film projects here, as opposed to 15 years ago when we were getting 30, 50, $70 million movies, is the money that gets spent here stays closer to home. The money isn't going to budget rent-a-car and hotel chains. It's going to working technicians and vendors in the Savannah area. So even though the projects are kind of smaller scale, the money stays closer to home.
But the rewards are hard-won. Just as filmmaking is becoming more decentralized, competition for film dollars is getting stiff from places like Shreveport, Louisiana, or Wilmington, North Carolina. The Film Office must persuade increasingly frugal producers that Savannah can meet project budgets, provide a skilled workforce, and the necessary locations to make their project work. And even when it succeeds, the attrition rate is high. 50% of films recruited to Savannah never get off the ground. Of those that do, only a small fraction ever get made.
For every film that shot here, there were 9 other projects that we made a successful recruitment effort with that just never got made. Recruitment efforts themselves can last a couple of months for projects that come up really quickly. Most of them last 6 months to a year. They can be multiple years long, and they can go in and out of different iterations. They can change titles, they can change people, but there are always a lot of things on our radar.
Will Hammergren is in the business of selling a city that he says goes a long way towards selling itself. He says that just as the evolution in the film industry is offering greater opportunities, Savannah will have to innovate to capitalize on them.
Savannah's infrastructure has increased a lot over the last few years, which has been great. That said, there's still certain things we don't have. We don't have large purpose-built sound stages, and certain projects require those. It would open us up to other kinds of projects that we can't currently facilitate, and it would create more steady types of income. Things like TV series. We've never had a TV series land in Savannah, and most TV series require sets that they can access, sets that they've built that they can access throughout the year. Having a space like that would allow a TV show to come in here and build sets and then shoot 6 months out of the year and create steady employment for a large number of people.
Which is just what the Savannah Film Office says it's been working for all along.
Coming up on City Span, how one 70s disco tune could help you save a life. And later, big changes in store for Savannah's waterfront. We're all familiar with the 70s disco hit, Staying Alive, but did you know that song, combined with the proper hands-on CPR technique, could save a person's life? In fact, if CPR is initiated within the first 4 minutes of a person's heart stopping, the survival rate is 43%. After that, it drops considerably. That's why the City of Savannah and the nonprofit Saving Lives in Chatham County have teamed up to train 1,000 people in the technique of hands-only CPR.
Nearly 2 million heart attacks, strokes, drownings, and chokings occur each year in the United States, according to the National Institutes of Health. And when a person's heart stops as a result, early intervention is critical. Hands-only CPR is an emergency procedure that keeps blood flowing to the brain and heart until professional help can arrive. The purpose is to prevent brain damage. That's why the City of Savannah has teamed up with the American Heart Association to give free CPR classes to anyone who wants them. The city has almost reached its goal of training 1,000 residents, who pledged to go out and train another 5 people each, creating an army of 6,000 lifesavers. In addition to the CPR instruction, participants receive a DVD and an inflatable practice dummy torso, all of which can be used to train others. The free 45-minute classes are being offered at more than 40 locations across the city through the middle of May.
Give it a try.
The hope is that Savannah 6000 will vastly improve the community's ability to respond to sudden cardiac emergencies, doubling the survival rate for out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. The CPR training is made possible by a grant recently awarded to the Mayor's Office by the Bloomberg Foundation, the American Heart Association, and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Savannah was one of only 5 cities nationwide to receive the award. Reaching out to the community in a different way, developers, builders, even the general public can now easily track and get information about building projects within the city. It's the Electronic Tracking Review and Approval Center, or ETRAC, an online system where registered users can view information about permits or inspections for their projects.
The eTrack software and website replaced 2 former systems. We had separate permit tracking systems. VIPS was for vertical inspections and permitting, and vertical meaning buildings and building permits. And then for site permits, we had a system called SPR, Site Plan Review. So those were 2 completely separate software packages, and the new one is merging them all together, so that will be greater access to the information altogether. If you're not a registered user, you still do have access to information on the site. You can look up and have limited access to information about projects in your neighborhood or projects you might be interested about in the community. The next phase of the program will be launched sometime in 2013. We're working on it, but we will allow registered users to actually pay fees online using a credit or debit card. Right now they have to come into the office and pay, so that'll be another improvement.
The eTrack system is just one way the city is working to engage citizens through electronic means. During last month's St. Patrick's Day celebration, the city provided live, real-time updates via special Facebook page and Twitter feed. The city's regular Facebook page has surpassed the 5,000 followers mark, and there are multiple options via the city's website to stay informed, including Notify Me, which allows users to receive emails and text message alerts, and an idea-sharing forum called Community Voice. These efforts, all part of the city's redesigned website, launched in November of 2012, with a strong focus on user experience and citizen interaction, have been recognized by the Sunshine Review, a national nonprofit organization dedicated to government transparency. The city's website received the Sunny Award for making government more open and transparent to its citizens, getting an A for its efforts. Another of Savannah's historic squares has received a makeover. Reynolds Square, laid out in 1734 by James Edward Oglethorpe, is home to the famous Pink House, the historically significant Oliver Sturgis House, the Lucas Theater, and a monument to the founder of Methodism, John Wesley. It's also a home to a large number of mature, majestic oaks that have wreaked havoc on the square's sidewalks over the years.
What we did was we came back in, tore out all those sidewalks and replaced them with the brick on sand, and in the process we raised the brick on sand so that the level of the brick sidewalk is now flush with the central plaza around the Wesley Monument, so it's now accessible to all people. It's a properly ADA accessible plaza now. Right. Our next step is we'll be coming in, pouring pads for the new benches and the new trash receptacles, or the relocation of the trash receptacles and the addition of a couple more. What we'll do is we will add the east-west and the north-south walkway benches back, and these will be in a Victorian style similar to the other benches in the parks, and the trash receptacles will be moved to the outer edges of the park. So we will also come back in and freshen up some of the landscaping, address the beds around the plaza, the little small brick planters, and clean the area up.
The Reynolds Square makeover follows more extensive work done in Chippewa and Wright Squares, all part of a larger effort by the city's Park and Tree Department to assess conditions in all 22 of Savannah's squares. Savannah's hospitality industry is booming, but it's a balancing act, weighing the visitors' experience and the businesses that rely on them against the needs and concerns of our downtown residents. That's where the Tourism Advisory Committee comes into play. City Span's Carol Miller has more.
Tourism in Savannah. It's a major industry fueled by the millions of tourists who visit the city each year. And the economic impact is no less than staggering.
Well, the numbers, the most recent numbers that we have are from 2011. And I'm really happy to report and proud to report that we had over 12.1 million visitors to our city. The economic impact for those visitors gets right up to about $2 billion, and that's billion with a B. So, a fairly important economic generator for the community.
In an effort to enhance the delivery of tourism-related activities while ensuring the quality of life for residents, City Council established the Tourism Advisory Committee, or TAC, in the 1990s and charged the group to make policy recommendations in the areas of tour services, management, and other related issues. Members are appointed by City Council and represent a balance of all stakeholders, including businesses in the tourism industry, residents, and preservationists.
Well, the Tourism Advisory Committee is one of the most important city bodies that's created by City Council. They offer an opportunity to be a liaison between both industry and residents. It's an opportunity for everybody to come together and create solutions. When you've got 12 million people coming in every single year, and that's overnighters and day trippers, you've got to have a solid plan on how these people are entertained and how they're taken care of, and the TAC provides that opportunity.
One of the challenges for TAC, its leadership, and the city has been the changing landscape of tourism as more and more visitors come to the city.
Starting out with the tourism industry back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, we had trolleys, we had horse and carriages. Today, let's see, we have quadricycles, we have segways, we have horse and carriages still, we have trolleys, we also have lots of walking tours. We have, our latest thing has been motor coaches, and motor coaches bring a lot of people, a lot of visitors to our city. We are a tourist destination thanks to Visit Savannah. All of those folks want to come here and they want to see us, but we don't have a lot of space.
And while TAC's work has been vital to balancing the needs of residents, business owners, and tourists, a more comprehensive tourism management plan may be in order.
We think, and I believe this is true of everybody in that committee, that what's needed now is a stronger tourism management office in the city and a master plan for tourism management plan. And those two things plus some tweaks in the city ordinance will help us guide tourism so that it doesn't harm the city and at the same time keeps the economic bandwagon going.
It's something that should be an overall or an overarching sort of strategic plan for how we contend with the millions of visitors that we have, so that we can ensure their good experience, but at the same time be mindful of those resources that we have, the fragile historic resources that need to be cared for and again kept in mind, I think, so that we don't lose our balance, that we don't put the needs or interests of our visitors over that of our not only historic resources, but the residents who live in the historic districts, plural, and their interests and their quality of life, because they are the ultimate stewards of this terrific resource in which we live.
Through extensive citizen engagement over the last year, TAC has crafted a long-term vision to serve as the foundation for future efforts. With that vision as its foundation, TAC is looking at issues and working to develop solutions.
You know, I think we're looking at all of the issues from every angle. I think we're considering, both sides of an argument, and I think from that perspective, when we do go back and make a recommendation to council and the mayor, I think it's based on some real good thinking and some smart thinking.
we come together and we try to sort out these issues and come to some reasonable conclusion, build consensus, and then make that known to City Council or to the city management so that they can effect those recommendations that we make.
Much of TAC's success over the last several months has been due to strong leadership from volunteer Vonette Good-Walker, who serves as chair of the group.
She's done her homework. She's got her file organized. She knows where she wants to take the conversation, and I think the productivity that we've seen has a lot to do with her leadership.
Vonette is absolutely a beacon to all of us in the industry. One, she has done a phenomenal job of reaching out and making sure the right people are at the table. And when she looks around and she sees that decisions are being made and maybe not all the facets of the industry or the community are represented, she goes out and gets them and brings them into the conversation. And that's what a real leader does. She makes sure that everybody's there for the proper dialogue.
An example of TAC's work under Good-Walker's leadership was the recent recommendation to relocate the horse carriage stands, and the decision by City Council not to amend the ordinance to allow for double-decker tour buses in the historic district. Reporting for CitySpan, I'm Carol Miller.
Earlier this year, then acting city manager Stephanie Cutter was presented with the Downtown Neighborhood Association Award for Outstanding Public Service. Mayor Edna Jackson received the Vision Award from the Tourism Leadership Council, and River Street Welcome Center staffer Wilhelmina Scott, whose daily contact with visitors makes her one of Savannah's greatest ambassadors, was presented the I Am Tourism Award for her integrity, commitment, selfless service, and real genuine kindness. From the Savannah Bells Ferry to the DOT Downtown Shuttle to environmentally friendly hybrid buses, Chatham Area Transit, or CAT, is an important piece of Savannah's transportation plan, providing a variety of options for residents and tourists. Patricia Hawkins has more on some exciting and important changes coming to CAT over the next few weeks. Anyone who has traveled West Oglethorpe Avenue in recent months has seen the new Joe Murray Rivers Intermodal Transit Center taking shape. The center will bring lots of convenience for our riders, but it will also bring some changes that everyone needs to prepare for. The center will operate on a new scheduling system called the Pulse. The Pulse operates like a clock, scheduling buses to leave the transit center on the hour, quarter past the hour, half past the hour, and a quarter until the next hour. This system simplifies schedule times and makes it easier for customers to plan bus trips. We spent the past 6 months introducing this system to our routes. This month, we introduced several new service changes. The most significant is the 14 Abercorn and the 114 Express. The 14 Abercorn will depart every 30 minutes and stay on Abercorn on its trip from downtown to the Savannah Mall. Side trips to the Canal Hospital and to the Walmart on Montgomery Crossroad will be discontinued. The 114 Express will be a true express bus servicing only 4 major stops and traveling along the Truman Parkway to the south side rather than along Abercorn Street. Its path will take Broughton Street to President Street to the Truman, exiting at Montgomery Crossroad. It will service the Walmart on Montgomery Crossroad, the Oglethorpe Mall, and take Middle Ground Road to the Savannah Mall. Please visit our website at catchacat.org for more details or call 233-5767 with questions. Until next month, I'm Patricia Hawkins, and as always, thank you for catching a cat. Still ahead on CitySpan, big changes for Savannah's historic waterfront, and scouts get down and dirty to earn a badge. Can you dig it?
The best way to experience historic downtown Savannah is to park your car and forget about it. And to make getting around even easier, we provide fare-free transportation. DOT connects you to our parking garages, visitor centers, accommodations, and attractions. There are 3 elements to the system: the Savannah Bells Ferry, Dottie the streetcar, and the express shuttles. Information is available at each DOT stop or at connectonthedot.com. Look for this brochure. It's got information about parking options, the system. It's got a great map.
Welcome back to CitySpan. Major changes could be in store for Savannah's waterfront as 2 signature developments are planned. One for the east end of River Street that will incorporate the old Georgia Power office building into a complex of hotels and retail space, and the other at the west end, converting Georgia Power's old electricity-producing plant into an entertainment destination, including a hotel and large music venue. Together, the projects represent a $200 million investment that could change forever the way we look at River Street.
It's the changing face of River Street, the upstream half of two new redevelopments that may reveal the future of Savannah's waterfront. In March, city native Richard Kessler, whose signature projects such as the Mansion and the Bohemian have set standards for elegance in Savannah, presented plans for his most ambitious project to date, the renovation of the Georgia Power Station on West River Street. A $100 million project, complete with luxury hotel, a 3,500-seat ballroom, a 3,000 square foot gallery, upscale retail stores, and an interior bar suspended in the air. It comes straight on the heels of a $100 million hotel and retail complex on the east end of River Street, designed by Gunn Meyerhoff Shea, the very firm whose imprint marks River Street today. Should they both get the green light from the city, they will change the way we see Savannah.
It's going to be something that is another sort of game changer for River Street. It won't be a revolution, it'll be an evolution, but I think the fact that both the East End and the West End are now going to be anchored with high quality developments is a very, very good thing.
Shea called it the next logical step for River Street in Savannah. Just as 40 years ago it evolved from a rugged working port into an area catering to tourism, Shea believes these two new projects will draw back residents who once considered River Street simply a tourist destination. And he said parking is the key for that to happen. Pete Shonka of the city of Savannah said that any new redevelopment will have to pass the parking test. He said the city was open to a public-private partnership, as Kessler has said he's seeking.
I think there's going to be a lot of pedestrian traffic on River Street, whether you build parking or not, but if you're building a large hotel facility on River Street, then you're going to have to provide parking for that facility. And that's something, again, that we have not done in the past, is provide parking for hotels, private development projects. So how we would partner, we have to work out.
Shonka said that despite the parking issues, making these two new redevelopments that bookend River Street work would have a deep impact on the area. A sentiment echoed by Bill Dickinson, CEO of Wet Willie's.
I think for years, the businesses all the way on the West End and the East End have really had a difficult time. And if you get more traffic flow, more pedestrian traffic flow, it's going to really help them a lot. But I believe this will be a game changer for the businesses on either end of the street. And obviously it won't hurt the businesses in the middle.
Should all go according to plan, the East River Street project hopes to break ground later this year, with an opening date set for early 2015. Kessler's West River Street plant project is eyeing a 2016 opening date at the earliest.
Scouts from ages 6 to 17 got down and dirty participating in an actual archaeological dig thanks to the city of Savannah. For several months, the city, in conjunction with Georgia Southern University, has been conducting an archaeological study of the Kluski embankment stores, a series of 4 vaults adjacent to City Hall on the Drayton Street ramp. Believed to have been built for storage, the vaults were completed in 1842, making them a significant and unique part of Savannah's history. The Scouts were invited to participate in the dig to help fulfill some of the requirements of their archaeology badge.
One of the requirements is visit a site and learn about it. And then another requirement that they can do is they go back to their troop and they do a presentation about the site. So they can go back and tell their troop all about today and what they learned and what they did.
We were digging through the dirt to find some of the artifacts, and we started it by wood and metal and all that. I learned what some of the tools that they used are for, and like what they used to make things.
All the artifacts that the kids are finding as they screen or dig is being bagged and it's being tagged by the archaeologists. So they'll take all those artifacts back to the Georgia Southern Laboratory where they'll clean them and analyze them, tag them, and they'll become part of the larger collection of artifacts for this project. And then that collection is going to come back to the city's municipal archives for preservation.
Information and artifacts gained from the study will be used to better interpret the Cluskey embankment stores for the public, as well as help the city make better decisions on how to care for and preserve the structures. The study, including all lab work, research, and analysis, is expected to be completed in late summer. Each month on CitySpan, we team up with the folks at Bank on Savannah, an initiative of Step Up Savannah, to provide you with some easy ways to help make the most of your money. With more, here's Richard Reed from Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Savannah.
Have you ever pulled your credit report? In today's world, credit affects all aspects of our financial life. When we try to rent an apartment, when we go to open a utility account, when we go to get a new job, when we try to get car or homeowner's insurance. Credit affects how much we pay for each of these things. According to federal law, everyone is entitled to one free credit report every 12 months from each of the credit reporting bureaus. The process to order your report is free and easy. Go to the website annualcreditreport.com to get your report online, or call 1-877-322-8228 to order your report over the phone. Once you receive your report, review it for accuracy. Look over everything from the spelling of your name to the balances reported by your creditors. If you find an error, you can dispute it online or write a dispute letter to the credit bureau. To learn how to read your credit report, review it, improve your score, and dispute any errors that are on your report, Consumer Credit offers credit clinics and one-on-one counseling. The upcoming credit clinics are April 23rd at the Southwest Chatham branch of the library, April 30th at the Savannah Entrepreneurial Center, and May 7th at the Bull Street Library. To register to attend, please call 691-2227 or email your name and phone number to cccs@cccsav.com. Until next time, I'm Richard Reeve, and you can bank on this.
Savannah residents are taking to the streets and going green in April. City of Savannah Sustainability Coordinator Garrison Marr and Environmental Planner Margosha Jadlowski have more in this month's Thrive segment.
If you've seen the azaleas blooming in town, then you know that we're set for spring in Savannah. It's the perfect time of year for families to spend time outdoors together, and there's 2 outdoor events that you won't want to miss this April. For this month's Green Tip, we'll talk about April 20th's Earth Day Festival and April 28th's Play Streets event.
Families won't want to miss this year's Earth Day Savannah Festival on April 20th in Forsyth Park. The park will be packed with organizations and businesses spreading the word about environmental issues, as well as sustainable living workshops, silent sports done in nature workshops, kids activities, food, live music, and the Forsyth Farmers Market. So why the tire? At Earth Day's Recycle-Rama, we take hard to get rid of items like tires and old paint and dispose of them properly. For a list of all the items you can bring and a schedule of events, visit earthdaysavannah.org.
The week after Earth Day, grab a bike and bring your family and friends to the first Play Streets event. One of 4 Play Streets events to take place in 2013 that bring together the arts, healthy eating, and physical activity. The April 28th event will be on Lincoln Street, from Henry Street down to Gaston. It'll feature a brazen attempt at the world record for the most people hopscotching, as well as bike games for kids, arts, farmers market vendors, and other activities. For more information, visit savannahga.gov/play.
That's 2 days of outdoor fun.
And 2 ways to think green, Savannah.
That's going to do it for this edition of CitySpan. Don't forget, for the latest news and information about the City of Savannah, keep it tuned to SGTV, visit our website, savannahga.gov, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, I'm Margaret Williams. Thanks for watching, and thanks for making Savannah your home.